cause I'm the weatherman. Oh, my thunderstrike, ride out the storm, I'm the weatherman. Oh, my breaking light, shake up the world, I'm the weatherman.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your Fast Forecast coming to you today aboard an Aegis Sentinel. We are, of course, in black space, where we prefer to do all of our interviews, either pirate, miner, or law enforcement, because it makes our interviewees feel more safe and secure knowing that someone isn't going to come knocking on their door in the middle of a sit-down in a StimCaf. Today we have John Sudd, a well-known pirate, or should we say infamous pirate. Mr. Sudd, would you, for our listeners, state your name and your organization name, please?
All right, I'm John Sudd. I'm the leader of the Shadow Army Syndicate. We are allies with some names that you've probably heard of before, like the Chaos Squad, the Black Coral Syndicate. We also are friends with, as you've probably heard, the Mongrel Squad.
We've actually just wrapped up an interview with the Black Coral and hope to do one with the Mongrels. As if we didn't know, what is the main focus of your organization?
I mean, it's pretty simple. Our people are there out for plunder and for booty and for glory. If you guys have got loot, then we're going to take it from you, whether by force or by ransom.
Interesting. Well, how did your organization form?
Well, I actually have to think about that. It's been quite a while now. We originally formed back in, I think it was 3 years ago now. And it was just a bunch of guys who decided that we were into PvP and messing around. And we decided that we wanted to do a bunch of shipjacking. Well, as it turns out, we then realized that piracy was actually possible. So we changed our tune and we started doing piracy, and the rest is history.
Your armor seems to be glitching there, Citizen Sudd. You seem to be pacing quite a bit. We hope that you... we would never say cut back on your stem calf, but there is a limit the human body can handle. So, for every pirate, we always ask this. Part of your job, or profession rather, is always shooting, killing, blowing up, murdering. What are your rules of engagement?
So we have very well-defined rules of engagement. While we are pirates, we do not, in any case, promote chaos or wanton murder or reckless killing. We have some very specific rules and of how we go about things, right? For example, we do not shoot neutral parties or non-combatants, right? We're not what's it called, animals. We don't fire on allies, and we also ask for a reasonable price. So if you are being pirated by a Shadow Army Syndicate person, right, and you have like 50,000 worth of cargo, we're not going to ask you for like 100,000 worth of ransom. That's not reasonable, right? And we are willing to negotiate. So if you have 50,000 worth of cargo, tell us about it, make that known, because we will adjust to your convenience, essentially. So yeah, we don't we don't engage in reckless abandoned murder.
So you're saying it makes more financial sense for you, for your prey to pay up and go on their business, than for it to be a one-hit thing to where you kill them and then both of you lose.
I mean, it wouldn't be both of us losing, though, because regardless of the situation, I usually come out on top. Because if they die, I get their cargo, I win. If they pay up, I win. So, I mean, the only real option is to pay up, because then you win as well as me winning, right? Because, I mean, think about it. I usually, if I'm hitting a rock miner, I won't ask you for too much, and then you can go on rock mining for, hours on end, get like hundreds of thousands of UEC, right? So.
Interesting. You mentioned rock miners. Are there any targets that are off limits? For example, if you see a Cutlass Red running their red and blue emergency lights, would that be considered off limits?
So it really depends. Now, Cutlass Reds, now they are traditionally the medical thing, and obviously in war you cannot attack medical personnel. But we have been finding miners using that as an excuse to disguise themselves. I have found miners disguising themselves using cutlass reds, which I find is a cowardly tactic. So it depends upon the situation, but majority of the time we won't hit let's say poorer financially citizens that will be running stuff like I don't know, let's say Mustang Alpha or Aurora MR, citizens who are new to Stanton, let's say. Those people, they don't have much to offer us, and we don't have much reason to hit them, so we just won't. Until they actually have something of value to us, then we have no quarrel with them.
So it's a quick cost benefit analysis. You look at their ship, and if it's not worth the hit, it's not worth heating up your weapons.
Pretty much.
Interesting. You touched on this, but we have to ask very blatantly. If someone pays up, if you ask for a ransom and they do pay up, will you let them go, or do you chase them down after they pay?
We let them go completely. And I mean, we've even gone so far as to recommend a rock miner as to the nearest point of Hadnite that we saw while we were scouting for rock miners themselves. So, yeah, as long as you pay up, you're practically untouchable in our eyes. And any players who have attacked someone after they've paid up have been dealt with very severely. Because
That's oddly generous. Well, that actually is another question that we've been asked repeatedly to ask you, pirates. Is there honor in piracy?
I would say there completely is honor in piracy, because there's no point in like paying up if you know the person who pays you is just going to kill you, right? There has to be a reputation. When I want people to hear the Shadow Army Syndicate, they obviously have to be afraid of me, but in addition, I have to have a reputation as someone who keeps their word, regardless of if my word is I'll let you live, or my word is you're going to die tomorrow. I have to keep that word, right? So I have to keep that reputation, and many orgs have perfected this reputation, right? Like we've mentioned, Chaos Squad, Mongrel Squad. These orgs are orgs that people know and they fear them, right? And some orgs have even gone so far as to hunt down these orgs, right? So reputation for a pirate is everything. It's our Jolly Roger. It's our black flag.
Interesting. And as you mentioned, reputation, we do have to plug one of our longtime sponsors. They don't buy ad space, but they do give us access to their data banks, and that is MobyTracker. That's mobytracker.co / and all you do is log in there, and you can enter any citizen's name, and it will tell you their reputation, what org they're a part of, and you can leave comments. For instance, if you come across Pirate John Sudd here, and he honored your agreement, you can say, he honored our agreement and let me fly away, and build up your reputation that way. Just a quick heads up. Every organization wants to expand, and we know that yours is no different. What do you look for in a recruit?
So generally, I don't look for, because majority of the organizations have just the kind of the thing that I want to dissuade from as a pirate is the recruit who joins the org, and the moment he joins the discussion, the first words out of his mouth are, what can I kill, what can I blow up? Because that's not really what we're here for. While that is a byproduct of what we do, our methodology is profit here, right? And so if they're looking just to kill, if they're just looking to blow up stuff, then they're not in it for the profit, they're just in it for the reckless murder, right? But I also don't want recruits who are in it just for the profit, right? Because then that doesn't breed loyalty, right? Has to be a balance between those two things, right? So it's a fair search to find the qualified recruits.
So you mentioned profit in a balance with murder. Oddly enough, when you engage in piracy, what is the split among your crew who's with you?
It's even split among anyone who is in the group who participated, right? So let's say there's 5 people who participated in a pirate hit, it gets split 5 ways, right? And of course, it's only if people participated. Like, if we have a group of 7, 5 people participated in the hit, the 2 people aren't going to get, paid because they didn't do much. But yeah, it's even split everywhere. I don't take any special privileges as the leader or anything, because that's not fair, right? Everyone pulled their part. Everyone
So
did their
there's
part.
no captain's cut.
There is captains in terms of orders and in terms of hierarchy,
as
but
in pay. A special percentage extra goes to the captain. That doesn't
No.
exist.
that does not exist.
What about if you are using a larger ship, such as the Hammerhead, the Carrack, larger ships that are fairly expensive to run and operate? Does the ship get a cut?
Does the ship get a cut? As
For
in,
instance,
like, maintenance?
Well, for instance, some organizations that we've interviewed count the ship as a partner as well. So if there's 5 pirates, the ship counts as a 6th when it comes to divvying up the bounties. That way the ship is maintained.
That is quite the interesting proposition there. The thing, though, is that our org specializes, as in our name, Shadow Army. We specialize in stealth and ambush tactics. So you won't really, unless it's an unusual situation, you won't really see us manning up in a Hammerhead or a Carrack or an 890 jump or what have you, right? Usually, the first time you see one of our guys on radar, it's already too late. Right. Usually it's within one kilometer or so, and you've already got the direct message call coming in, and my face or the face of one of my members is on your what's it called?
Moby.
Your Moby glass screen. Yeah.
We've been beating around the bush and try not to mention it, but most pirates that we've interviewed are in heavy armor or combat armor. You're in mining gear. Why is that?
So it's quite simple for 2 reasons. Well, first reason, the miners don't expect to get pirated by what appears to be a miner, right? We specialize in stealth and ambush tactics. We aren't like the other pirate organizations that you see that go in guns blazing and all this kind of stuff. We tend to only go after a target once we've completely secured everything, knowing that they are completely in our grasp, right? And second point of contention is, well, the mining suit offers a lot of things that heavy armor or combat armor doesn't usually offer. Like, if I were to loot rocks off of the ROC, well, I could just put it in my backpack, whereas the heavy armor people would have to, walk it all the way back to their ships. It's just a matter of convenience, I would suppose.
That's interesting. And you're right. If we saw you just wandering around a rock, we wouldn't guess that you were a pirate. We would believe that you were legitimately there to be mining, not that you had killed the prospector who was running it. That's interesting. When you get a new recruit, say someone who isn't used to pirating or someone who is just fresh out of flight school and is new to Stanton, do you offer training for your new recruits?
Yes, of course, because I can't exactly expect people to come in knowing absolutely everything the moment they join the organization. That's unreasonable, right? I do offer training, and of course, some will be hands-on, some will be, Moby videos, some will be, simple messages that they can read. But it's a combination of all 3, really. But yeah, by the time they stop being from the time they join the organization to the time they stop being a recruit, they'll pretty much be like almost an expert on piracy.
Interesting. Well, how would someone go about signing up?
Well, it's pretty simple, actually. You would just get into contact with me, and I'll lead you to our secret communications channels, and we go from there.
Well, what we're going to do is when we broadcast this on our newspaper, we will include your video channel as well as your organization's link through Spectrum to make it easier for citizens who's interested in joining, because we see piracy just as legitimate as we see bounty hunting, scrapping, or law enforcement or mining. everyone has their place in Stanton. Which brings us to the last few questions. What are your organization's future goals?
I think our future goal is to become an organization that's feared not because of our military strength or our sheer power, right? Because there's going to be a lot of organizations as people expand out of Stanton that will have huge amounts of, wealth, power, manpower, all this kind of things. But what I want the reputation of the Shadow Army to become is a sort of, oh no, they're already in our ranks, or oh no, they're already here. We couldn't stop them in time, right? I want us to be invisible. I want us to be in every rank and file, in every, nook and cranny that anyone could ever imagine, right? And we will only reveal ourselves when the moment is nigh, and by then it's too late, right? Because there are going to be hundreds of organizations vying for sheer wealth and power, but as they say, knowledge is power. And so I intend to be the, let's say, monopoly on knowledge and intelligence.
So, where other organizations want prestige and acknowledgement, you just want to be there and gather information because there's more to gain from the shadows than there is the spotlight.
Exactly. And the spotlight only just puts a target on your back.
This is true. Every organization has supporters and detractors. This is the point where we like to give you a chance to speak directly to them. What would you say to your supporters?
To my supporters, I would say keep on keeping up the good fight. I mean, the fight's not going to get any easier. A lot of bounty hunters are going to come after you. A lot of, security forces and whatnot, and a lot of organizations, security organizations, they're going to come after you. So keep on keeping on, I guess, because it's not going to get any easier from here. It's only an uphill battle.
Well, that's true. And to your detractors, those who say you're a pirate, you're a griefer, go do something else.
To my detractors, I say, from this interview, you know my username. From this interview, you know my my organization's name. I say, come at me. If you have a problem with what I do or who I am, then don't meet it with words. Meet it with gunfire. And that's probably the only response I will give back to you, is with a hail of bullets.
Very interesting. Well, Citizen John, we appreciate your time. We know for pirates, as well as everyone else, time is money. And we appreciate you sitting down, or in this case, standing here with us and giving this interview. We've wanted this for a bit. And with your schedule, especially being an information broker such as yourself, it's difficult to make time. So we really appreciate it.
The pleasure is mine.
Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you tuning in here. This is your Fast Forecast coming to you tonight from the Aegis Sentinel with Citizen John Sudd. From all of us here at Fast Forecast, have a great evening.
Cause I'm a weatherman. Thunder strike, ride out the storm. I'm a weatherman. Oh, my, bring your light, shake up the world. I'm a weatherman.